Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here, first of all. I'm Rabbi David Englander of Congregation Bethel, and together with Rabbi Aaron Krupnik and Chazan Elisa Pomerantz Boro, it is our very sad and unwelcome task to guide the services this morning. I am the very first to admit that I know better than anyone else knows exactly what to say today, because words do not make facing the loss to this family, loss to our world, in need of Sheila Lenoff's characteristic kindness and competence, even a bit easier. We can only pray that by following the teachings of the Jewish tradition that Sheila carried with her always, we will know that we are doing exactly what she would expect of us. In that way, perhaps we can gain just enough strength to persevere through this incomparably difficult day. The Torah teaches us in the book of Deuteronomy, Hanis Tarot Ladonai Eloheinu, that which is hidden from us is known only to God. We admit we are powerless in our dismay and our grief over losing Sheila way too soon. The verse continues, V'haniglot lanu ulvanenu ad olam, that which is revealed, that which can be known through our limited capacities, is for us and for our children and for their children and beyond to know and to hold with them. While we are so much less sure of so many things today, we do know that the example of Sheila's life is now in the possession of all who knew and loved her, and it will reverberate through generation after generation, who will know of her special presence, dignity, and her heroic strength, because they will hear it from you, those whose lives were blessed by Sheila's lasting influence. Today we will hear from close family and from some friends. The chance to continue to share stories extends into the Shiva period and beyond. First, we turn to Jewish tradition's liturgy as our Chazan leads us in a song.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Roi Lo Achzar, Binoteh Sheyarbitzeni, Al Mei Menuchot Yenahaleni, Nafshi Eshovev Yanechem למען שמו. גם כי הלך בגיא צלמוות, לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי. ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters, guides me on paths of righteousness. He revives my soul for the sake of his glory. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod do comfort me. You set a table in the sight of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall abide in the house of the Lord forever. Dear Max and Fran, my heart is breaking for you. We always will have that treasured memory of being in Israel together. When you, Max, finally got to tell your story, the miraculous twist of fate that allowed you to survive. Today we come together to tell your daughter's story in ways that we could never have predicted. And Ben and Holden, I've known you guys since you were little kids. And especially over the past few years, it was really, really easy to track your careers because all you had to do was stand next to your mother and find out how proud she was of both of you and all that you continue to accomplish. And a couple of weeks ago, I was in Jerusalem on a weekday. I had in my tallis bag the name of Simcha Rivka with your name, Fega Bracha. I had it in my tallis bag because we've been praying for months now for her strength, and by that point, Lou, as you said when we spoke, for her miraculous recovery. The miracles that we are here to recount are the blessings that she was in your life. The friendship that the two of you shared that went beyond love to the deepest level of your being has always been her greatest source of strength, and never more than when Sheila needed you the most. And you as a family came together and gave her strength as she had cheered you on throughout the course of your lives. And as Rabbi mentioned today, we will hear from her family, her friends, and we will remember Sheila for the good person that she was, for the strength of her character, for her determination to live a good life and to leave the lasting blessings that she truly does. So Lou, I'll call on you first.
All right, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'll give it my best shot. First, I'd like to thank the clergy of Bethel for being here to honor Sheila. It means a lot to our family. I want to thank all that have come today to pay their respects to Sheila and celebrate her life. She's my wife and partner for 33 years, which is kind of amazing since usually after a couple of days people get tired of me and get annoying, but 33 years is pretty good. Since Sheila was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, so many of the community have stepped up to support Sheila and our family, whether it be providing meals, giving us love and support. It's deeply appreciated. Sheila was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer back in May or June of 2022. The cancer had spread to the lymph nodes in her back, which required radiation treatments to stop the spread and ease her pain. She was on a target drug called Tagrisso, which was controlling the growth of the tumor. She did develop a very, very severe cough, which was very distressful for her. It was really very debilitating. It took a toll on her chest and esophagus. Within like a 6-month period, she lost about 60 pounds. Through all this, she still continued to fight and tried to keep a big smile on her face. Last month, Sheila suffered a stroke due to she was an Eliquis failure, and it also had several AFib situations where we had to rush her to the hospital. She finally passed last Friday from aspiration pneumonia and other complications from the cancer and other issues she's had. I saw her in the hospital last Friday. My in-laws were there. The whole family was there. Her sister Joan, Stan, and she decided it was just enough. Like I said, it was one thing, one obstacle, but she had so many things up against her, and it was too much for her to fight. But she did on her own terms. She was on oxygen. She decided to go off the oxygen. They put her on morphine, and then within an hour she passed, which was a blessing. She didn't have to suffer. Her breathing was labored, and she passed very quickly. So I thank God, she didn't need to suffer anymore. Those that Sheila is a speech therapist for 24 years for the school district of Woodbury, New Jersey. She worked with elementary students up to high school. Sheila loved her job and made a great impact on her students. She also mentored some SLP students, which some are actually here today, which we deeply appreciate. I want to thank Sheila's administration, special ed teachers, colleagues, for being so kind and supportive for Sheila during her illness. There were multiple or countless emails, as well as cards wishing Sheila well. Sheila and I were married for 31 wonderful years. We have 2 great sons, Holden and Ben. What I love about Sheila was that she always put her sons first. She made it a part to know what was going on in their lives, and we opened up our house to their friends. Sheila guided Holden and Ben in their career paths and was always there to provide direction, support, guidance, and love. Sheila was so easygoing and always had a smile on her face. She valued the friendships she made and was a very reliable friend, whether it would be just a listening ear or providing her opinions or advice. No task was too difficult for Sheila. She was very confident and self-assured. That's one of the things I loved about her. Nothing was ever a problem, very systematic. Nothing was a problem. We enjoyed going out with friends, spending time at the mall, going down the shore, as well as watching Ben and Holden in their younger days with playing sports for baseball for Little League. And I turned Sheila into a dog lover because she grew up. She had a cat, Fluffy, that was 21 years old, believe it or not. But we wound up adopting a red-nosed pit bull, which was her love. So that was her passion. She used to snuggle up with her, and she had so much love for that dog. And we also have Brownie, which is our black lab from years ago. What I love about Sheila is also she had a close bond with her mother and father, her sister Joan, brother-in-law Stan, their children Jared and Harrison, as well as my brother Ken and his wife Larissa, as well as her uncle Adi, her aunt Perla, her cousins Jacob and Zachary. That was very important to Sheila. Again, family and friends were most important to her, and she always wanted to be there for them. I will miss Sheila's sweet smile and kindness. She was a great partner and made my life so happy and fulfilled. I'm glad she's no longer in pain and know we'll be reunited in heaven. I will always love her and keep her in my heart. I also wanted to thank one of my dear friends, Eric Belmonte, who came in from Atlanta to be here for Sheila, and Michelle Gershon, who came in from Florida. So thank you, everybody, for coming to respect Sheila. Sheila's told me, Lou, if I do die, I'm sure I'll get a nice showing for my funeral. And she was right. There's so much love and support here. It's very touching that people respected and valued Sheila, that they would come pay the respect. So I can't thank everybody enough, and the clergy, and just everybody for being there for support. I love you guys.
Together. Holden and Ben are coming up together.
I didn't expect him to get past like 3 sentences. He did really well. Mine's shorter, but I don't know if I'll make it. As many of you know, my mom was an extremely selfless person. That's the word that keeps on coming up, selfless. No matter the circumstance, didn't matter. So recently, unfortunately, I was up in New York on a snowboard trip this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's when my mom was in the ICU for her last few hours. When I spoke with her over the phone, I told her hang on a bit longer so I can come back and be with her one last time before she passes on. But she told me that her time is now, not to worry about it. She told me how much she loves me and told me to spend the rest of my days, the next day, snowboarding with my friends, and that it'll all be okay. So, even at that, she wanted me to be with my friends and not think about it too much, which I'm going to think about it, of course, but what I noticed was after the fact that I think 2 days later, because I was in shock when I got that call, was that she was smiling the entire time she was talking to me. I haven't seen her smile for about 4 or 5 months before that because she was suffering. And I know that she was happy and relieved that her nightmare was finally ending and that everyone that she loved was around her. Even though I wish I had more time to see her, I'm glad she's no longer suffering because there was no way for anybody to live day in and day out. It was just too much. She fought to the end and it was finally her time. And that's okay. I know that she's already watching over us because the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I printed out 63 pictures at Walgreens, and that was a hassle because they suck. That's ad-lib, that wasn't in there. So don't go to Walgreens for that. So when I reached in the envelope and I grabbed out, just to see how the pictures came out, the one that I grabbed was random, was in the middle of the pack, was my favorite picture, is the one that I posted of her. Out of 63, that's about a 1.6% chance that I grabbed that picture. So I know she's there. I know that Ben and I are going to continue to make her proud. Ben's going to finish grad school, and I'm looking to go into grad school soon. As she watches us, and Mom, I love you more than you can ever know. I'll see you again someday.
I have some words to say, but I just wanted to share like a memory I had, just a random memory. In 8th grade, we grew up playing sports, so I grew up playing like baseball, I did basketball, and 8th grade I tried out. I didn't make the baseball team. That was okay. It was just tough because I knew I put in a lot of effort, but it happened. So next year in high school, for the freshman team, I remember she'd always drive us like on the way to school just because we were kind of spoiled because we didn't want to wait for the bus, but also it was kind of like on her way, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But she drove me in, and like I knew like in the morning before school started, they would have like a list posted for who made the team. So I was thrilled. Obviously, sorry, it's not really climactic, but I made the team. So I called her right away, and like she was she was like happy, crying, and yelling in excitement. She had to like pull over, so that was just a special moment because she knew how much it meant to me, and she was always there for like any game or just any situation. But she was always like following me to whatever baseball game I was at, or stuff like that. And this is here what I wrote. I said, my mom is a very special person. It felt like she always knew what to do and what to say. She was always there to cheer me on and give me guidance. Talking to my mom over the phone and just being with her were highlights of my day. She had an impact on so many friends, family members, and coworkers. And I'll make her proud because she's watching over me and all of our family. I'm going to stay strong and continue her legacy.
I'd like to ask Bob Lober to come forward. No pressure, huh? No pressure? Excuse me. First of all, wonderful words, boys. Lou, amazing. To each one of you, Holden, Lewis, Ben, Max, Francine, Joan, thank you for sharing your beautiful wife with me. She was a dear friend. Many of you have the same experience. Sheila poured her heart out to each one of you, and it was so apparent. Every conversation I've had with her, it was her family was in mind, especially you boys. But I feel so blessed because she also cared for me, and she cared for my boys, Matthew and Paul, so much. For those of you who don't know, my boys went to school with Holden and Ben, with Holden specifically since kindergarten. And they welcomed me into their lives and shared. There wasn't a phone call that wasn't, please come over, have fun in the pool, stay for dinner. And when I was going through a very tough time, Sheila had me in mind as well. So we're all so blessed to have that experience with someone so caring and selfless. So Fran and Maxine, you've passed on that beautiful love to your lovely daughter. And boys, moving forward, if you are with someone now or you meet somebody in the future, you know, if you could have a fraction of the mom that you had in your partner, please consider all that she passed on to both of you. And I count it such a blessing, and I'll never forget her for as long as I live. I lost I had a dear friend that I grew up with since kindergarten that I lost, and Sheila was there for me when she knew him, and she became that surrogate friend for me. And yeah, so thank you. And thank you to the congregation for how you've encouraged Sheila as well, because she's often spoke so highly of you. I've been to a number of your services and have seen you come out and support the family, so thank you. Thank you, Lou. And we will continue to be friends, and I will be there for you all. I'm not sure if I'll ski. I'm glad that Matthew... Pickle. Maybe we'll get you in the pickleball court for any of those who play. Thank you. God bless. Thank you, Bob. I'll ask Michelle Gershon to come on up.
Sheila would be so happy and proud of the love and the outpouring of everybody here today. I know that was really important to her, and she felt it, and I know she feels it today. Integrity, strength, selflessness. These are the words that come to mind when I think of my friend Sheila. The day I met Sheila, we were gift wrapping at the Voorhees Town Center during the same shift. We started talking as two speech therapists would naturally do, and never stopped. She told me all about Lou and her sons, and we learned that we had boys the same age. She was funny, blunt, open, and honest. Within that 3-hour shift, we shared many stories and began a beautiful friendship. Not too long after we became friends, my family went to Tokyo for 2 weeks. My son Noah couldn't miss all that school, so although it involved a lot of chutzpah on my part, I asked Sheila if he could stay with them for 2 weeks. Not only was he welcomed with open arms, he was literally treated like a third son. The following year, he was invited to go on a road trip to South Carolina and Georgia with Ben and his family. They visited Lou's parents and had so many laughs and fun adventures along the way. He still says his favorite family vacation of all time is the one he took with the Lenoffs. It's true. Sheila made everyone who came into her life feel like family. This includes all the children she worked with, helping them with their various communication needs. She cared so much about them, it was never just a job to her. Sheila and I decided our boys should be involved in a basketball league and signed them up, and they quickly became best friends. Mark and I loved spending time with Sheila and Lou. Sheila loved the shore. We had wonderful days spending time on the beach, boardwalk, and porch. We've met up on the boardwalk with Sheila's loving parents, Fran and Max, who have also, like Sheila, treated my son like family and opened their home to him. Sheila embraced being a member of Hadassah, and we had a lot of fun being co-presidents and membership chairs together. Her organizational skills, kindness, and ability to talk with anyone were a huge asset to our Rakela Hadassah family. She opened up her warm and loving home and hosted many backyard parties, always happy to celebrate with friends. She loved and lived life. She had a great laugh and wasn't afraid to be silly. We had a karaoke party for my 50th birthday, and she was the first one up there belting out 80s songs in the mic. At a Hadassah event, she volunteered to be hypnotized. What followed was absolute hilarity as she answered questions in animated gibberish. She had the crowd in stitches and cracked up at herself after watching it on video. For Ben and Noah's high school graduation, we took the boys on a mother-son bonding trip to Baltimore. Being the cool moms we were, we booked a houseboat in the harbor and slept there during our weekend. We had a blast celebrating our boys. Sheila loved and lived life. She was an amazing friend who would tell it like it is. She was passionate about helping others and cared so deeply for all the children and patients she worked with. She continued to work tirelessly this past year because she wanted to be there for them. As passionate as she was about everything in life, she was most passionate about her two sons, Holden and Ben. Nothing in this world made her happier than seeing them thrive. She guided them, encouraged them, and raised them to be the incredible young men that they are. She will continue to live life through her boys, her beautiful legacies. Her strength and dignity is so inspirational. Sheila lived her life with so much gratitude, but we were the incredibly lucky ones to have her in our lives. I will miss her terribly and cherish our friendship forever.
I'll ask Sherry Rock to come forward.
Sheila said to me when she was going through her toughest times, I hope somebody shows up at my funeral. I said, are you kidding me? That's going to be mine. You can't leave me. Thank you, Lou. Thank you for giving me the honor to speak about Sheila and our friendship. A Jewish girl and a Catholic girl walk into a bar. That was the story of me and Sheila. It's not how it started. We were only 15 years old in 10th grade chemistry. And they were the best days of my life. I remember when she met Lou. I remember the double dates that followed. We got to share some of the most precious moments in life. We were pregnant together, had our children together. She went to my baptisms, I was able to attend her bris because that was Sheila. She included me, excuse me, in every part of her life. I want to thank Fran and Max and Joan because somebody as special as Sheila comes from such a special family. And you included me too, and I appreciate that. We went to different colleges, but it didn't matter. We still hung out, we still caused trouble, and we enjoyed every minute of it. And with Sheila, it was nothing about the laughs. And her and I could laugh for hours and hours. And that's how long our conversations lasted. None of this texting. Her and I had conversations. And those are the best conversations of my life. That was Sheila. Sheila was a mother. She was a wife. She was a daughter. She was a sister. She was a sister to me. My own parents would make sure that Sheila was involved in everything. My own father said, "Is Sheila coming?" And I said, "Yeah, Sheila's going to be there, so am I." "Well, as long as Sheila's coming, I'm coming." When my parents passed away, Sheila was there for me. As everybody in this room knows, that was Sheila. Sheila was selfless. Sheila would always joke around that I taught her how to be tough. It's not true. She was a tough one. But the truth is, Sheila taught me how to be a better person. And I'll never be more grateful for that. Someone smarter than me once said that friends are the family that you choose. That's what Sheila was to me and more, a friend and a chosen sister. She is aunt to my children. She will always be Aunt Sheila. I am so grateful that she picked me and honored me in her life. And I'm so honored to have been able to walk through this life with such a remarkable person. Thank you.
Oh, to Lou and Holden and Ben and Bob and Michelle and Sherry, I really thank you on behalf of everyone for somehow finding the strength to share what you did so beautifully, such a moving way. And all that is said by you and by others today and in these coming days and weeks, it's all meant to honor Sheila's life, to begin to allow the precious memories you carry of her with you to become part of the very essence of who you are. So great was her role modeling for you of the traits that our Jewish tradition views as core to living a good life. So we recount a bit of the narrative of her life, noting that Sheila grew up in Northeast Philly in a loving home that took Jewish identity and Jewish education seriously, something she would continue to do as an adult. This commitment included affiliation with Shar Shamayim, where she had her bat mitzvah, and her participation in a Hebrew high school program out of Gratz College. She even babysat for the rabbi. Well, let me rephrase. She babysat for the rabbi's kids. She attended George Washington High School, and in addition to other early accomplishments, she was the first chair violin in the orchestra. Sheila attended Temple University as an undergraduate and originally wanted to be a physical therapist, It was a short jump to helping students as a sought-after speech therapist. And she knew she needed a master's to do that at the level she wanted to, and she pursued that with dogged determination, commuting to the University of the District of Columbia for some 2.5 years, including while she was pregnant with Holden. She worked for 24 years for the Gloucester-Woodbury school system as a speech therapist. I know it's an honor and comfort to the family to see so many of her colleagues here today. She saw and helped kids with all kinds of challenges. Lou noted how much her students appreciated her. And he had noted previously that she worked with some of them for many years, starting with them when they were young and seeing them at every stage through high school. And Sheila loved that, and I only can bet that they did too. It takes a special person to be a good mentor, including students she worked with from LaSalle who are on their own path to this important work. And we know she enjoyed that too. The last time I saw her, I want you to know that one thing she mentioned explicitly was her appreciation for how her school district stood by her, holding a lung cancer awareness day, starting a fund, and telling her not to worry about the time off that she needed. And as you said, they gave her the gift of time. Lou and Sheila's marriage was the product of a failed blind date, just not between the two of them. A setup for Lou didn't work, but that girl didn't want to go out alone, so they went out as a group, and Sheila was part of that group. One fine Erev Rosh Hashanah evening, Lou showed up at the house, and Max predicted that they would one day be married. And a couple of years later, they were. And it led to 31 years of a marriage based on love, respect, stability, and building a wonderful family, continuing this family's generational legacy. Just looking around where we were chatting in your home yesterday, an easy sight were bar mitzvah pictures, certificates from Hadassah, paperwork from JNF, many more outer signs of these deeper inner commitments to community, synagogue, Jewish peoplehood, Israel, and so much more. Holden and Ben would follow, and it is clear you were raised in a supportive home by parents who not only wanted what was best for you, but who also trusted you, with a little motherly nudging to make excellent choices, and you both have. Told you at your house that you know beyond any doubt that your mother wants you to live full, productive, and helpful lives, and if you ever had any thought of not doing that, she would kick your butt. But you are already on your path to that through, for now, personal training and occupational therapy, inspired on some level by your mom's total selfless commitment to you both and to helping others in any way that she could. She passed on many things to you, including, as you noted, her work ethic and her being even more concerned for others than she was for herself. You will absorb and reflect these values in your own way, and you will make her and your dad proud as you do so. We know that. You described your mom as an Eagles fan, even if she couldn't name any players other than Nick Foles. She liked to dance. She liked to dance. You heard about the karaoke. You didn't hear about how she escaped through reality TV, including 90 Day Fiancé. Enjoyed walks, watched movies, and of course doted on Remy. Wherever Sheila went in the house, that's where you could find her loyal pal also. As was evident by the word shared today, her dedication was not limited to her special family, but also to extended to great friends, many of whom were in her life for decades. The Brelos even joined Bethel because of Sheila and Lou, and the Lenoffs have associated their name and Sheila's efforts with sisterhood and the broader life and health of their synagogue for more than 25 years. If you were Sheila's friend and you had a problem, you turned to her to help fix it. Said she could fix just about anything because she was practical and handy, and she could help fix you too. Or at least she could help you through a challenge because she was knowledgeable, and as you have heard over and over, she was selfless. She could give without the need to receive, totally lacking in presumptuousness. She did what was right because it was right, and not because she stood to gain from it. And I want to tell you that from our very long tradition, that is extremely high praise. As our conversation at Jerome progressed, I became aware of something that I think is worth pointing out, which is that we were talking for an hour or more, and the subject of Sheila's illness had barely been mentioned. Most of you know that 15 years ago she faced a significant cancer scare. It was only these few months ago that a new difficult diagnosis made its own welcome appearance, but her illness never defined her. She remained very much herself as she fought and fought until fighting was no longer possible. You stood by her. All of you did. You encouraged her and made sure she had all she needed, from doctors to medicine to support and hope, and especially made sure she knew she was loved. She also had something she thrived on, which was information. She was in the exact opposite of denial. She faced this terrible beast head on, and she gave it all that she had. And you always made sure she knew how important she was to you. The only thing greater than the pain of loss today is the power of the love that was and is yours, because Sheila's special presence was such an integral part of your lives. Sheila passed away on the same Hebrew date as Max's mother, Helen, 18 Adar. In that there is something of the connection made of the generations of a family that will stand by each other through this exceptionally difficult time. You and Fran today experience the terrible and unexplainable anguish of burying a daughter. There's no explaining that. We can only acknowledge your unending and your boundless support for your Sheila, and affirm to you and to Joan that so many are with you today in admiration of how you have found and will find the strength to persevere. Sheila's 52 years of life in no way seem enough. She will be remembered with great appreciation and with lasting love, and she will be with you whenever you think of her. You will channel what she would say to you when you face a challenge, and she will inspire you as you reach down deep to access reserve strength to pursue your meaningful goals. Holden and Ben will be surrounded with love as you both make your way too soon through this world without the physical presence of your mother, yet always motivated by what you know she will always want for you, which is to live fulfilled and happy lives. Lou, we and your Bethel family stand with you and recognize with such great appreciation and respect the sensitivity, enduring partnership, and incredible connection you shared with your bride. We wish you strength and comfort wherever it is to be found, but especially in the certain knowledge of Sheila's lasting presence in the depths of your heart, where she will always be. Tenishmatat Tzura B'tzura Chaim. May the special soul of Sheila Lenoff be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. I want to note that following the interment in Lower Moreland Township at Shalom Memorial Park, family will return to Max and Fran's home in Philadelphia, where Shiva will be sat today. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, return to Lou's home in Cherry Hill, with visitation starting at 3 o'clock p.m. and a service each of those evenings at 7 o'clock p.m. For the El Maleh Memorial Prayer, Those who have the strength to do so are asked to please rise.
El male rachamim, shochein b'meromim, hametzeh menucha nechona tachat kanefei hashechina, במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מהזהירי את נשמת סימה רבקה בת מנחם מנדל ופגה ברכה שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהא מנוחתה על בר הרחמים הסתיריה בסתר כנפיך לעולמים ותצרע בצרע חיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום המשכבה, ונאמר אמן.
O God, exalted and full of compassion, we pray that you grant perfect peace under the wings of your sheltering presence to the beautiful soul of Sheila Lenoff, who has gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember that vibrant spirit that she shared with all of us as she graced us the land of the living. May her soul be bound in the bond of eternal life. May her memory live on in the hearts and homes of all who loved her forever. May she rest in peace. And together we say, amen. You may be seated, please.
We all rise once more.